To the 3 million soldiers, men and women, who served with great dignity and great courage against battlefield odds and home front odds in another time in a place far away, our Vietnam veterans. Thank you and welcome home. I am a professor of English at De Anza College in Cupertino, and as General Myatt mentioned, I also serve on the advisory board of the Veterans Health Research Institute. I've also taken students back to Vietnam several times, and we continue that program today. If any of you would like to join us this summer, see me at the reception. And it's a wonderful way to go back, okay? You and your wife can go back. We'll even let you room together for no extra charge. And go back with some of the younger students. My wife went as a student. She signed up credit, no credit, so she didn't have to do the papers. But seriously, if you'd like to go to Vietnam with us this summer in the month of July for about 2.5, 3 weeks, please let me know. And we're going to go this year to the American Embassy 4th of July party in Hanoi on the 4th of July. So come and join us. Since I'm an academic, I want to start with a quiz, and I know we have a lot of Marines in the room. The question is, in what year did the Marines first land at Da Nang, go ashore, and engage in combat? I heard pretty much a consensus on March of '65. Well, that's not quite right. The answer is 1847. I wasn't there. Norman Lloyd was there making videos, but I wasn't there. The USS Constitution, which is still the oldest ship in the Navy, put into Turan, the old name for Da Nang. And the French consulate came aboard to ask for help because the Vietnamese had captured a bishop and had him in captivity in Hue. A company-sized unit of Marines went to Hue, and they were not successful. We took second place that time. I served 2 tours in Vietnam. I spent '66 with the 25th Infantry Division in Cu Chi as an infantry platoon leader and later as a staff officer. In '68, '69, I returned and served in the headquarters in Saigon and did a lot of travel across the entire country, including many trips to Da Nang to visit our Marines. There was another young lieutenant, a Marine, who arrived before I did. Although we did not know each other, our tours overlapped. As a platoon leader with the 1st Battalion, 4th Marine Regiment, his unit was ambushed and fought for 2 days. For that battle, then Lieutenant Myatt was awarded the Silver Star, the nation's 3rd highest award for valor. He later returned to Vietnam for a second tour as an advisor to the 5th Battalion Vietnamese Marine Corps. He was awarded the Bronze Star Medal with V and the Vietnamese Cross of Gallantry with Palm. General Myatt provided leadership in Vietnam and in Desert Shield and Desert Storm when he commanded the 1st Marine Division, which defeated 7 Iraqi divisions in zone, seized Kuwaiti International Airport, liberated Kuwait City. General Mike, you learned the lessons of Vietnam well and kept your losses very low by applying those lessons that you learned in Vietnam. There are many, many Marines alive today because of your Vietnam experiences and your subsequent superb leadership. General Myatt assumed duties as president of Marine Memorial Association on 10 September 2001, one day before the world changed. Let us recognize our host and great warrior, Major General Mike Myatt. Tonight we are privileged to have a November 2015 film done by our brothers at KWTX Television in Central Texas, featuring several Vietnam veterans and headlined by noted war correspondent and lifetime member of Marine Memorial Association, Joe Galloway, who has spoken from this podium often. Joe Galloway was a young reporter covering the Battle of LZ X-Ray with the 1st Cavalry Division in the Adrang Valley in November of 1965. His seminal book about his experiences, We Were Soldiers Once and Young, and the movie was, of course, Mel Gibson's We Were Soldiers. In the documentary today, you will see that Joe is wearing the Bronze Star. He is one of very few civilians awarded an Army Medal for heroism as a civilian, rescuing soldiers during the Battle of LZ The movie we will see tonight, Why We Can't Forget Vietnam, is a cautionary tale, and you may find it uncomfortable to watch. It may bring back bad memories, but as Vietnam veterans, we are watching it together. Why We Can't Forget Vietnam. It's always a thrill to see Joe Galloway and to listen to him and to learn so much from him. I was somewhat troubled by the negative experiences of some of the veterans in the movie. Most of us returned home, rebuilt our lives. Most of you have. It is true that PTS is still a problem for many of us, and veterans are still suffering, as the movie makes clear. Bud Buca, my Medal of Honor classmate, has a simple message. Bud Buca, suffers from post-traumatic stress, and I got treatment at the VA.
There were definitely moments when I would pause and look at the photo and remember the guys involved. Some of them didn't make it back. The most emotional part was I was trying to be accurate in the book. At the beginning of the book, there's a section in memoriam of the men who were killed in the year I was there. We didn't keep a tally while we were in country, so I went to the Vietnam Wall site, and I found a similar site that listed units by date. So I was able to plug in my unit and my start date and end date, and identified the 4 guys that did not make it back. While I was doing that, a good friend of mine, I noticed, I left in June, I noticed in October that he was killed. And that was a real shock, because all those years I thought he had made it back in one piece, and it turns out he didn't. And I went out in the kitchen and my wife said, "Why are you so upset?" I said, "A guy that I knew, I just found out that he died." And she said, "Yeah, but that was I says, "I know, but I just found out about it now." There's actually a follow-up to that, because one of the websites said if you have pictures of this person, add them. So all they had was some goofy picture from his basic training photo, and I had about 15 photos, so I sent them in and didn't think anything more of it. Just before the book was coming out, someone had said you should set up a website for the book. So I set up a website, and when I got back from a trip, I had an email, and it was from this gentleman's brother, and he said, "I just found your pictures, and you served with my brother, and I was 10 when he was killed. Do you have any more pictures?" Well, I had 25 more pictures. I sent him the pictures. He and I communicated, and he said both the parents had died, but he and his sister really appreciated seeing more photos, plus reading the book about the unit that he served with. So that was kind of an emotional, or the most emotional experience, plus some closure for his family and for mine.